Do you wonder if you're the best version of yourself? This is the question we seek to answer in this podcast. We reveal information that helps you recover your health and become resilient. Modern life makes us fragile. Our diet, lifestyle, and environment set us up for failure. We do not accept this. We seek optimization. We strive to become dynamic. Many years ago, I used to be a bartender in Miami at this place called China Grill in South Beach, very popular place. And the nights we would make the most money, we'd have these two rushes. So we would open at 5, and there'd be a line of just sort of typical like Caucasian Americans waiting to get in a rush. And then, they'd dine for like an hour, hour and a half, and then there'd be a big lull, and then around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, a lot of the Hispanic clientele would come in, and they would dine for hours. And we'd get out late, but we would make a lot of money. But the point is, I noticed this cultural thing that Americans tend to be so go, 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 and in a rush, and banging on the window, trying to get in, waiting for it to open up, and this is like a Saturday night. Like, what's the big rush? Whereas the Hispanic population would take their time. It was much more social, much more relaxed. And what I'm getting at is that I think it's a terrible idea to eat and dine in a rush. Eating quickly and the desire to kind of get in and get out is a sign that you're probably stressed and you're in a very sympathetic state. Meals should be slow so you can chew thoroughly, you can digest thoroughly. They should be social. This is our time to sort of turn off the system. I mean, I get it at lunch. You got 45 minutes or whatnot, so sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But this need to rush through dinner, I think, is really detrimental to our health. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about the nervous system. So when we are stressed, we are in a fight-or-flight state. And this is the way the body works. When you're in fight-or-flight, it sort of shunts certain parts of the body's systems and prioritizes others so that we can either fight or flight. So one of the things that we do not need when being chased by a bear is digestion, right? So the sympathetic nervous system will inhibit saliva production, so that immediate breakdown that starts when you chew is being inhibited. Gastrin is a hormone that's also inhibited, and gastrin tells the parietal cells to produce stomach acid. So now stomach acid is not being produced. This is a condition called hypochlorhydria, or low acid, and this comes with a whole host of other issues, and we sort of see this cascade of things that arise. So what happens is if you're eating in this stress state and your stomach acid is suppressed, then your food goes from your stomach into your small intestine, and then you basically feed your small intestine a meal. And all the bacteria that exist there start to proliferate, which can turn into an issue called SIBO, and those bacteria produce gases. When this happens chronically and consistently, then you have an increased abdominal pressure. That, in turn, will cause the LES, or the lower esophageal sphincter, to inappropriately open. When that happens, you get reflux. So you get an increase in acid in the esophagus, and then what does everybody do, and is told to do, is they take antacids, and then when it's a serious problem, or a more common problem, then they take PPIs, things like omeprazole, so the proton pump inhibitors. Those basically reduce your stomach acid down to 0. Now you're just making everything worse. So on top of now developing GERD, you also are not going to start to develop nutrient deficiencies. Probably B12 will be the first sign, right? B12 gets gobbled up in the small intestine, but it's being gobbled up. And your body's not absorbing the nutrients because it's not being broken down in the stomach where it's supposed to be broken down. So this becomes a vicious cycle. So you got kind of like what I would call rage eating, turns into increased abdominal pressure, reflux, nutrient deficiency. And micronutrient deficiency is the start of many of our diseases. So what should we do? I mean, we need to not rage eat. I used to do home health physical therapy down here in Naples, Florida. This tends to be a very Republican part of Florida. So I'd walk into a patient's house. They're basically bedbound, and they're just watching Fox News and kind of screaming at the TV and trying to eat. There's no way you're going to digest your food while, raging at the TV. Which brings me to another point. When you are fixed on something with fixed gaze, like staring at a phone or the TV, that is also a sympathetic state. Your vision is tied to your nervous system, so fixed equals sympathetic, whereas if you're using peripheral vision, like looking at your friends and family and talking to them, or looking at a sunset, or the horizon, that's more peripheral. It tends to be way more parasympathetic. And remember, the parasympathetic system is literally called the rest and digest state. My wife works at a restaurant as well. She works in a hotel restaurant, and she was telling me that the group that they have in-house right now are all very angry that food is taking too long to come out. We're talking about 15 minutes for an appetizer. This culture we've created around like everything has to be on time. And why are you in such a rush to eat? Take your time. Food is meant to be celebrated with friends and family. It should not be this rushed, angry at the waitress type of thing. I mean, if you want food to be fast, go eat fast food and have terrible health. Okay, I think you get the point. Take your time when you eat. Allow yourself to digest. Chew a lot. Be with people. Look at the sunset. I'm ranting because I was in the restaurant business for 10 years as a bartender. And we used to say at the bar, if you are in such demand for a drink right now, and you can't wait a few minutes, you probably shouldn't be having a drink. That's a problem. And also, don't allow your kids to do this either, right? I mean, they're still developing. They need nutrients probably even more. They need their bones, their muscles to grow, their brain to form. B12, by the way, is such a common deficiency, and that's what's forming their nervous system and the blood cells. So don't give them a phone when they eat. It's terrible for them. Okay, that's all for this week. I'll be talking to you guys soon. A ship in harbor is safe, but that's not what ships are meant to do. What does this mean? It means exposing yourself to difficult situations so you become resilient. If you need help building resilience, check out our flagship program called Physiologic Flexibility. This is a 3-month do-it-yourself program that teaches you how to maximize your homeostatic regulators, such as your pH, blood glucose, O2 and CO2 tolerance, and temperature. We give you specific action items through the program with the goal of becoming anti-fragile. If you want to become the inspiration for your friends and family, this is the program for you.